The night burst with a crack like a gunshot, my circuit breaker snapping in the shed. The lights went out, my electric saw slowed to a halt, and my backup generator stood quiet, drained dry. I assumed another raccoon had gnawed a wire, but when I entered the shed, I saw an extension cord slithering out under the back wall, trailing toward the community greenway. My gut clenched. I tracked it, the hum of something charging getting louder. Rounding the hedge, I almost laughed out loud. There, crouched like a poverty-budget thief, was HOA President Linda, plugging in her cherry-red golf cart to my solar-powered shed, as if it were her own power station. The sheer gall struck me like a blow, sipping iced tea on my porch, an hour or so later replaying the shed camera tape. A wicked notion flashed. I eyed the bull fence's electric hum and smiled. If Linda craved juice, I'd give her a shock she'd never forget. Morning dawned with roosters crowing and a neighbor's leaf blower shrieking. But I was already tense. Linda's midnight raids had run my battery down, starving my chicken feeders and leaving my flock squawking. Tire tracks disfigured the grass by my fence, evidence of her golf cart's invasion. By mid-morning, she had the audacity to saunter up in a floppy hat and oversized sunglasses, carrying an HOA warning notice. "James, your shed's solar panels are too reflective for the trail," she said, smirking. "And there's talk of someone hogging power, just a friendly conservation tip." She handed me the citation and sauntered off before I could call her out. Her guilt was as clear as the track she'd left. I spent the afternoon digging through 2 weeks of footage. Every night at 2 a.m., Linda snuck in, cord in hand, plugging her card into my plug, rolling her phone until it was charged, then abandoning the cord dangling as if I wouldn't notice. This wasn't a fluke. It was intentional, and she figured I'd keep quiet. She had no idea I'd been raised on a ranch where we learned to not mess around with a Bueller's power grid. That night, I set to work. I diverted the cord to a dummy outlet hooked to my bull fence's energizer designed for 1,200-pound monsters. I rigged a fail-safe to defend my equipment, installed a new camera for all angles, and replaced the shed's bulb with a soft blue LED to entice her in. Linda was set to walk into a trap. The following night, her sequined jacket shone as she sneaked through the hedges. She inserted her card oblivious. A snap, a sizzle, and a shriek ripped through the darkness. Linda jumped back, wig-flying glasses hitting the ground, stumbling into a bush like a cartoon victim. Her card ignited, rolled into a ditch, and expired. "This man's got a death trap," she wailed, running away, cord dragging like a whipped dog. I laughed so hard I almost choked, looping the tape until morning. By morning, Linda stormed the trail with 2 HOA minions brandishing her arms like an outraged dictator. "James, your dangerous outlet harmed a resident," she spat, barely keeping her anger in check. I folded my arms. "You mean the plug in my private shed that someone broke into to use?" I played the tape, her plugging in getting shocked, flailing into the bush. One sycophant strangled the guffaw. "That's anchored to a posted bull fence," I included. Linda's jaw clenched speechlessness as they shuffled away, her muttering about lawsuits. But she didn't let up. A red-stamped HOA notice showed up accusing me of an unsafe security system and putting the community. 3 additional citations arrived within a day, including one for my shed's unauthorized visibility. Linda was fighting dirty and she wasn't playing by the rules. That night, my shed's electricity sputtered again. Not Linda this Tamia. Nervous adolescent, probably her proxy, attempted plugging in a cord but broke away when I yelled. She was contracting out her sabotage. By morning, the community board bore a flyer, "Electrical hazard warning," with a blurry picture of my shed, asserting my wiring threatened children and animals. It required signatures to shut down my solar installation. Linda was mobilizing fear, but I wasn't giving in. I phoned the county's electrical inspector and AG compliance officer, Old Farm Contacts. They visited my installation, gave it a glowing report, and identified a suspicious cable from Linda's house running through the hedge to my paddock. It was connected to an illegal junction box, tapping neighborhood power for her cart and backyard fountain. The officer issued a citation. The power company stacked up penalties for unauthorized lines. Linda's scam was falling apart, and I hadn't raised a hand. She pushed back, organizing a neighborhood walkthrough to nitpick the color of my fence shed, even my wind chimes deeming them visual blight. I waved from my porch, my dog Buck barking on cue. Unbeknownst to her, I'd complained to the HOA Governance Council for secret connections to a developer, shopping for a golf course, route through our greenway over my property. Her theft of power was merely step one. Monday brought mayhem. A county official stickered Linda's electrical panel with hazards. Her cart remained dead, and HOA rumors turned to rebellion. Her friend Greg ghosted her, and a motion of no confidence gained momentum. Linda lost it, yelling through a megaphone regarding HOA corruption, flaunting her failed flyer. Neighbors captured unimpressed. Her reign was cracking. 2 nights prior to the election, cameras caught Linda with bolt cutters looking at my fence. Buck's bark and my flash froze her. She dropped the tool and ran. I made a trespassing complaint to the sheriff. Video was included. The deputy laughed. "She's a soap opera actress." At the crowded HOA meeting, Linda's defense habit order disintegrated under interrogation of her wires and fibs. The vote removed her 4-1. Her own vote, the only holdout, she slunk away. Diminished. Her cart still dead. Peace descended, but I remained on guard. One evening, my bull paddock gate swung open, the shed door ajar. Inside the fence's control box, sabotaged wires cut taped sloppily. Pictures revealed Linda at 10:03 p.m., wearing a hoodie with cutters like a wannabe spy. I sent it to my lawyer cousin Mark and the sheriff. This was illegal. Tampering with a livestock fence put my bull Brutus at risk. A neighbor, Clara, called, whispering that Linda was gossiping about my booby-trapped paddock and a phony data center deal. Her desperation was hazardous. Past midnight, she came back prying at the shed with a crowbar. I flipped the spotlight, catching her red-handed sheriffs on the way. I said, "Phone recording." She froze, then deflated as deputies came. No struggle, just surrender. The neighborhood erupted. A clip of her arrest landed on the forum. HOA Queen Meets Justice memes erupted. Her cart shrouded in crime tape. The HOA disavowed her, erasing her name. Then came a bombshell. Her illegal calls had tapped a city relay for a fire dispatch tower, threatening emergency systems. The State Infrastructure Protection Division intervened. Agent Carter asking my testimony. Linda's little theft had become a state-level crime. Neighbors grew enraged, finding out her prank almost derailed a storm response. Her home went on the market. Her name was a warning. The HOA chose Greg, who promised openness. Neighbors came together, painting barns, swapping tools. A child sketched Brutus and sunglasses, trashing a cart. Now a shed mural. A developer, once Linda's friend, gave me a fortune for a trail path. I rented a narrow strip instead, maintaining Brutus's shade tree, requiring quiet hours and ag education signs. At Brutus's party, we grilled, replayed Linda's Zap, and toasted freedom. The sheriff brought ribs, joking about a hair dryer on fence case under the stars. Brutus crunched apples, and I smiled. Linda hijacked power, but I tapped into justice. Her lies short-circuited her world, while mine hummed stronger than